Alright, check this shit out because this theory could prove that ancient civilizations actually had contact with each other across the world. According to the history books, there was absolutely no contact with outside cultures, but there are pyramids in 5 continents, with similarities that don't make any sense if history is correct. These are thousands of miles away, and almost all of them have this 3-window structure. Have you ever seen the photo of the Last Supper? Look in the background, it's the exact same windows. Mexico, Cambodia, and all the way in Egypt. All created in a time when traveling across the ocean wasn't a thing. Keep watching because it's about to get really good. The Bahamas recently discovered a massive man-made limestone road underwater, and at one time the limestone was cut perfectly. And these land bridges are popping up all over the world, all headed out to sea, pointing at the direction of new land. Or like this one recently found in Sakhalin, Russia, when a massive storm sucked all the water out, revealing this massive road leading out into the middle of the ocean. Or like this one a NASA satellite recently discovered, now known as Adam's Bridge, connecting Sri Lanka and India. So could it be that these cultures somehow had a way to connect with each other? The similarities are almost undeniable. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Noah's Ark had 3 levels. How are you going to get light and fresh air to all 3 levels without power distribution electricity? Check it out. Just like a mall, it would come in at the top and hit all 3 levels. Pretty smart for a guy who never built a ship before. Admittingly, evidence of Noah's Ark is scant. Right there is an illustration of a photograph in 1970 that somebody saw of the Russian expedition in 1916. All were killed except for the surveyor and the photographer, and that's what it looked like. The producers of the movie In Search of Noah's Ark built a miniature Noah's Ark, had it tank tested where the Navy tests its ships. That's it right there. This is what the scientists found, and that it could withstand waves up to 200 feet. And it could pitch and yawn 90 degrees. What that means is it's almost impossible to capsize. And get this, while it's floating about on the water, the craft naturally propels its bow into the waves.
Anunnaki was this group of gods worshipped by the ancient Sumerians, the oldest civilization on Earth. The legend goes that these great beings of light come down from the sky to teach humans things like agriculture, literature, and then civilization itself. Now, the interesting thing is that this exact same story is found all over the world. Like it or not, but the world seems to remember something which has happened. Something which has made us completely obsessed with the idea of the divine. Now, according to the Book of Enoch, the fallen angels must have come down from heaven around 5,000 years ago. So of course it won't be a surprise to hear that the very first gods in history are the ancient Sumerian gods from around that same time. Those same gods would actually end up being worshipped in places like Babylon. It even says in Revelation that Babylon has become a dwelling place for demons. You see, these demons are actually just fallen angels posing as gods. Gods who would end up going by many different names.
Religions were made to hide the truth about yourself. Every religion has a sacred river. For the Egyptians, it's the River Nile. For Christianity, it's the Jordan River. This river is actually the canal which goes from the bottom of your spine to your third eye. Heaven and hell are complete mind states, which is the lower states of consciousness being hell and the higher states of consciousness being heaven. Now, this Kundalini energy coils up the spine like DNA spirals, and there are 33 vertebrae on the back of your spine. This is why Jesus dies at 33. And also there's 33 levels of Freemasonry. This is the ascension process. This is the stairway to heaven, from physical matter to spirit. Now, even the Egyptians knew about this third eye called the pineal gland, and it is the seat of your consciousness. This body is a mortal body. Your consciousness is an eternal essence. You never actually die. Your pineal gland produces DMT and has tiny microcrystals wrapped all around it. This pineal gland is activated by turning the oil at the base of your spine into gas and rising up through this canal, activating your third eye. Now, this is why Santa goes up and then down the chimney, dropping off his presents, and just like Hickory Hickory Dock goes up the clock and then back down. This is the true Christ consciousness. Jesus Christ was symbolizing this alchemical process, and it even says in the Bible, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. This third eye This pineal gland is the key to other worlds and the spiritual worlds beyond this physical experience.
If you haven't heard of the mud flood by now, it's basically the theory that all of the big cities around the world were actually found, and they were taken by the people who found them. Now this is the oldest photos of Madagascar that you will ever see. And when you look through these, you're going to see some rather strange stuff that you probably wouldn't expect in a place like this. First, you're going to see all these buildings basically out in the nowhere, with dirt and rubble everywhere around them. Now, many of these were said to be the result of colonialism. But on tops of these buildings, in many photos, you'll see their same type lightning rods. You'll see the similar cathedrals, and even buildings like these, which are still standing sometimes. Now check this out, and check this out. You see the lightning rods are missing. And there's many other buildings that are still around in Madagascar. But I want you to check this last photo, and then check the next one, and you can see that the bottom windows are now obscured.
I've been making videos about a world being right beneath our feet. A sinkhole opened up in Black Hawk, South Dakota, and when they went inside of it, they found this massive 40 by 60 foot cave system that none of the residents knew was there. And as they explored further, they even found a car from the 80s or 70s. I talked about it before, but a lot of our history can be found right beneath our feet. And some of these areas that we think is abandoned are actually still been occupied to this day. And a lot of these sinkholes that's been opening up are probably falling into some of these areas that we don't even know is under us.
Can I blow your mind real quick? Okay, so the word dinosaur comes from... Chris is leaving because we've been fighting about this all day. Go. So the word dinosaur comes from two Greek words, okay? Deinos, which means terrible, and sauros, which means lizard. Okay? Now, dinosaurs lived hundreds of millions of years ago, apparently. And the Greek language is only 5,000 years old. Let that sink in. So either there were Greek people around 100 million years ago, or there were dinosaurs 5,000 years ago. And if you want to go down this and you can look this up, if you want to go down this rabbit hole with me, you start to ask questions like, well, how did they build the pyramids? How did they move giant rocks through the desert? Well, what could pull a giant rock through the desert?
This man tweeted he was going to be killed by the CIA and died a few hours after.
What if I tweeted one day that the CIA and the Mossad were going to attempt to frame me and then torture me to death? And then 4 hours after that tweet, I was found dead in an ocean. You think that it was just an accident, that the timing of my tweet was suspicious, and then I naturally drowned? I'm asking you that question for a reason. I'm asking you because it's actually happened to somebody, and this story that I read completely sent a shiver up my spine. I think that it will send one up yours as well. A lot of people were sending me information claiming, this sounded to me like a conspiracy theory, that Jeffrey Epstein was a part of our intelligence agencies, that he was actually operating a blackmail ring, and this is the reason why nobody would prosecute him, because he was a protected CIA asset. Jeffrey Epstein would get very powerful people to attend his parties, would bring them out on the Lolita Express to his island in the Caribbean. He would get them to sleep with women, maybe unbeknownst to them that these women were very young, and then he'd have blackmail. He'd record the acts, and then suddenly he had control over people all around the world. A lot of people in the press were saying this guy, Alexander Acosta, allowed Jeffrey Epstein to get off scot-free. He was asked with the Trump administration, is the Epstein case going to cause a problem? He explained breezily he had just one meeting on the Epstein case. He'd cut the non-prosecution deal with one of Epstein's attorneys because he had been told to back off, that Epstein was above his pay grade. He said, quote, I was told Epstein belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone.
Did you know that one of the most widely used and most powerful witchcraft is sexual witchcraft? It allows to have a complete control over a person's mind and therefore life. This witchcraft is not only performed privately by witches and warlocks, but it is also performed publicly against humanity. And you can also perform this witchcraft accidentally, and I will explain how. In order to protect yourself from this witchcraft, you need to be highly aware of how it works. So, in order for this witchcraft to work, one of the three things have to happen. Number one, you need to be seduced to give out your sexual energy. So for example, it is enough for a woman to dress provocatively and express her sexuality openly to seduce a spiritually weak man. And spiritually weak men who do not know how to protect themselves from this type of witchcraft, they get easily bewitched and easily controlled by these type of women. This can also be done by men, and this can also be done through words. This is why Bible says dress modestly and do not use seductive words or compliments before you decided to marry a person. Number 2, it is enough to be an eyewitness of a sexual ritual in order to be bewitched. This is why people who watch pornography do not have full control over their own mind and are easily manipulated. And this is actually a secret mind control agenda against humanity. Because once you are bewitched, your mind is completely hacked. And when the mind is hacked, it can be easily controlled in many different ways. And number 3, a person can be cursed through cursed food. But when it comes to sexual type of witchcraft, a person must consume any type of fluid from human reproduction organs. This is why there are some type of sexual acts that are not permitted in the Bible. Because these type of acts are witchcraft and it evokes demons that can control a person's mind. And when it's deliberately performed by a person, that person gains control over other person's mind and can easily manipulate that person. This is why you should avoid food that was cooked by somebody else, even if it's sold in supermarkets. It is known that energy drinks contain animal semen. This is why I would avoid any type of prepared food or drinks that are sold in supermarkets. Because as you know, humanity mind control is a very desirable thing.
The richest family in the world might also control the world. We heard about this insane story from the book The Rothschild Family, discussed on the Tim Ferriss Show. It all started with Meyer Emil Rothschild, a successful banker who had 5 sons: Nathan, James, Emil, Solomon, and Carl. These 5 sons were sent off on a mission of world domination. They were sent to key sectors of the world like London, Paris, Vienna, and Naples to establish banking power, and it worked. From this foundation of banking, all 5 brothers became immensely wealthy and created a massive family fortune, which was used to buy properties all around the globe and expand the business even farther. Now the Rothschilds manage things like real estate, financial services, farming, energy, mining, winemaking, and non-profits. They pretty much have a hand in everything. This, along with their massive fortune, which probably isn't entirely public, has led to a ton of conspiracy theories the past few years.
Now if you believe this, you have truly lost your goddamn mind. They are saying America might run out of money by next month. They make money. Money is made up. They print it off with a machine. There's no running out of money. You are their money. They make money off you. The minute you were signed to that birth certificate, you became an organization which they make money off you from. It's all a scam. It's all a scam. Listen, there's no economy. Listen, they make their money by robbing other countries and robbing you. So yeah, there might be a war. Someone might get invaded. But trust me, America are not running out of money.